Welcome back to Ratchet Dawson Isms, the very first episode of season 4.
Quattro.
Thank you. And we are super excited to be here at WTF Studios. How y'all like this
Yes.
setup, y'all?
Very nice. I like it.
Please introduce yourselves before we get started.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
I am Luke, the Harlem Skywalker.
Okay, I'm First Lady Ramona.
Hollywood Dre.
Hollywood Dre.
Yeah.
Ratchet Poppy, Uptown McFly, Uptown Brown, whatever you want to call me. I'm here. I'm in the building.
Yes,
Alright.
and if you didn't notice, this lovely young lady, she's back, Miss Dr. Tay.
Hey,
Please let
yay.
them know who you is and why you're here today.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dr. Tay Bassett, psychologist, professor, and author, and I'm glad to be back amongst
Yes.
family.
Glad to have you back.
We are super excited to have you back. And Dr. Tay, let people know your IG and the things that you got going on, because I know you got some things going on. I heard about a book.
My IG is That's Dr. Tay, THATSDRTE on Instagram and Facebook. And yes, I released my first book in December of 2021. It's called Your 21 Day Reset. It's available at my website, Dr. Tay Online, DRTEonline.com, and also on Amazon.
Talk about how you wrote the book in 17 days. Remember you told me that?
It was 11, but
Sorry, my bad. 11. See, thank you
Hey.
for correcting me. I just know she just told me she wrote it mad quick. I was like, how you do that?
Mhm.
so it started out as a social media campaign in 2016. It was January. Everybody's talking about goals and resolutions and whatever. So I said, okay, every day I'm going to give a prompt and an assignment. So on the 21st day, I said, this is going to be a book. Everybody's like, yay, congratulations. And then I didn't do it because
Good
I was
job.
afraid. Did you say good job?
You
Yes.
did.
So I was like, I was afraid. I was anxious. Is it going to be received? You know, all of that imposter syndrome, negative self-talk, all of that stuff. So I really had to go through my own reset of my own mindset in order to write the book. So once something clicked from copy and pasting the captions into like my notes app and then fleshing it out, from that to me having my first draft, not my first draft, the draft of the book, hardcover in hand, and launching it was 11 days.
Nice.
And I
Good
did everything
job.
myself. I did the cover art, I did the pagination, all of that.
Love
So
it.
That's what we call black excellence.
I
She's
love
smart,
it.
yo. She's smart.
She's
Black
smart.
excellence
That girl
over here.
good.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
girl good.
Awesome.
Listen, that's why she part of the family. We gotta have some smart people over here.
I can't.
I'm not the smart one.
Can't
I'm not the smart one.
Did anybody suggest that he was? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
That's
I'm
why,
joking.
that's
It's too
why
early
she's
for shots.
family.
Too early for
Yeah.
shots.
That's why she's family.
I know who's the shady one.
I never thought. No, sorry.
All right, so let's get into this, y'all. Again, we in WTF Studios, this wonderful studio with these lovely people, and we have another intriguing episode for you. We brung Dr. Tay back because there's a lot of things going on in the world. If you haven't noticed and haven't watched TV or news or under some type of rock, we won't go do all of the things, but there are so many things that affect us daily, right? That are going on that have nothing to do with us personally. And I came across this question and I wanted to pose it to all of you guys and get some professional advice as well in mental health and dating. And how do you coalesce this thing with the people that you're dating? So, for instance, there are so many questions that you can ask the person that you're dating or talking to get to know them, right? So many questions. We won't even list them, right? Have any of you ever asked this person, hey, do you have any like mental health history in your family or yourself, maybe?
Yeah.
So the answer
Oh,
to that,
You have?
I've never asked the
Biased.
question, but
You're biased.
I tell you one thing, right?
Uh-huh.
If you meet a woman and she tell you she crazy, you should believe her.
She's not gonna tell you she crazy.
Not someone. I've met a woman that told me she was crazy.
Straight up.
Straight up.
Wow.
Was she crazy?
Yes. I'm telling.
Well-
I,
Okay, well we got him.
So I got a question to ask then.
Wait,
So-
before you ask him,
no.
have you-
I
Answer
get
a
that.
question with a question.
No, the reason why I'm asking this question right now is because he's asking if you're dating somebody, are you asking them about their mental health or if there's mental health in their family, like if there's a history of it. The question that I have though, before we get into that maybe, is when is it okay to ask that question? Like, do you just walk up to a person and be like, hey, you look good. Like, you got mental health problems in your family?
What that brain be like?
Yeah.
What that mind be like?
I mean, listen, I am the
I'm
type
just
of
saying.
dude that, like, let's say I meet a woman who, her stats look good, right? Like, she's is attractive, she's in shape, she got a good job, she all that good stuff, right? And then she's single. I might be like, you look too bad to be single. What's wrong with you? You crazy? That I'm being facetious, but I'm not.
So
Can I answer a question?
before you ask me a question,
Answer your question.
Yes,
Answer
your question. So you're saying no, you haven't asked anyone.
No, I haven't.
So I've asked, but not at the beginning. The only time I ask is when I see a reason to.
Mm.
Like when I see signs of something that's not right, I'm gonna ask like, does anybody in your family suffer with mental illness? Because I see things about you that leads me to believe that you might have something going on.
Can you
But-
give us an example, please?
Like, I think a lot of people suffer from bipolarism, undiagnosed bipolarism, because a lot of people go from like irate, enraged, and then go back down to like nothing ever happened within like 5 seconds. I've seen it happen, and that's scary. And when I saw that happen, even in a minute way, not something grand, but in a minute way, I had to question him like, that's not normal what you just did. Who, and he told me, he was like, I was on medication when I was younger. My mom took me to the doctor and they diagnosed me with bipolar disorder. And I used to take, but I stopped. Now all I do now is smoke weed and get high. That's my medication now. But yeah. So I only think I ask if I feel the need to, because I see signs of something that might not be right.
Okay, and we're gonna come back to that.
Mhm.
You said no. Well, you asked in a certain way.
Yeah, asking I'm being facetious, but I'm not. But
Okay. Dr. Tay said yes.
Yes, but not until very recently. And I think that's because not just of my training, but because of experience. Like we're getting older. Nobody has time to waste. Like, who's that? Moneybag Yo? I just looked at my wrist. I got time today. I ain't got the time. Like, let's get it out. Let's be transparent. Let's get it out of the way. So, I mean, it wasn't like hey, my name is Tay. Are you in therapy? So I didn't ask if you have mental health issues. It wasn't like that. It's like, oh, so have you ever been in therapy? And,
You
that
think
was
that's
probably like a
rude?
few.
Do you think that's rude?
that's a soft way to ask. I like that.
I just want to know, like, do you think that's a little bit rude to ask someone at the beginning?
I think it's about perception.
Okay.
Like, and
That could be insulting to someone.
but I think that speaks to their view on mental health care and the importance of tending to your mental health. If they're offended by that, then that might be a red flag.
I mean,
I don't know.
I think right now we good because
Ba, ba, ba.
everybody should be in therapy based on the pandemic. So I feel like right now is the
Mm.
perfect time to ask, and nobody should be
That's
offended.
true.
Like you
That's
in the
true.
safe zone
That's true.
to ask that question, and people not get tight about it.
Right,
Like,
but for some people, speaking on those things is like asking on their blood type. Like you're getting like really personal.
I don't know my blood type, bro.
But what
We're
it
gonna
is,
get back to
right.
all
that
y'all
too.
That's
ju-
another
I'ma get-
episode.
I'ma
All
get-
y'all judge me. Wow,
I'm gonna get
like,
you.
That's
I'm gonna
crazy.
get you. And I'm gonna get you.
But what it is it's because I don't know how you're gonna judge me if I tell you that I do have some mental health issues, depending on what those issues are.
Mm.
Okay. So you asked a question where you said, how soon can you ask, right?
Yeah.
So I actually have, well, I don't know if it's the answer, but my experience was, because I, as well, till I got older, it wasn't something that I asked, right? So I started realizing that this is an important question because one, not only am I looking to build a relationship with someone, I want kids, I want to know if that's something that I need to know that, right? But anyway, I did it on the first date,
Mhm.
and it went something like this.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Before I continue, can we get a disclaimer?
Oh yes.
All right.
We got 12 minutes before we got there.
You know what? I was trying to escape it, but
The views
The
and
views and opinions of Uptown Brown, Ratchet Poppy, Mr. Receipts, whatever you want to call me, are solely the opinions and views of myself and do not reflect upon the cast of Ratchet Thoughts and Isms or the lovely Dr. Tay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all
sir.
happy now?
Yes.
We appreciate it.
So, as I was saying,
Mhm.
it went down like this. I created an atmosphere where I was vulnerable first
Okay.
with what I was doing, what I had done in the past, and where I'm planning to go, and what I'm doing now. And in that, I was very open with, hey, yeah, I went to therapy to get help because I needed healing for these certain things with my great grandmother, my great grandfather, and my mom. And I was like, I didn't even know I was hurting. And I kind of went through on the first date, like I was, what was that, like word vomit, whatever. I was like, like I
Great
was like,
grandmother?
Diarrhea. Of the
I
You
was,
said
mouth.
you
I was
said
giving it
you said great
Diarrhea of the
grandmother?
mouth.
my
That like
great
slavery trauma?
grandmother. Listen, again, so I expressed that. In doing that, I was vulnerable, and those two women responded to that by telling me their own stories and their trials and tribulations, and in that, they opened up and told me about, hey, yeah, I
this-
suffer from blah 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 blah.
Somewhere in my
And that's
heart.
how it happened for me as far
Mhm.
as the question and when to ask. Now, I don't know if that's going to work for everybody. I don't know if everybody's going to be so open. As you said, I'm too old to be doing this representative shit. Like,
Mhm.
I'm coming, like,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm listening to you, but I feel like it's bullshit because yes, I'm older, but I'm still a fucking private person. Like, if I don't want to say my business to you on the first date, I don't want to do that. Like,
I think most
that's-
people
like, I feel
have
like-
reservations about opening up to
But-
someone who is new. Like
but-
you don't even know if they're gonna be there tomorrow, let
right.
alone next
And I
week,
feel
next
like,
month.
and I feel
So
like,
why should I feel comfortable
Wait.
opening up my trauma to you?
but I
Like
also feel like that should come with time. Like, we should open up organically, not like, hey, so I want to know your mental health before I even get any further with you. Like, would you continue to date her if she said she was bipolar? Or she
I
said she
did.
was schizophrenic? Or
I
she said
did.
You would continue dating her.
I did.
You're dating her.
I'm not dating her anymore, but I did. Here's the thing.
type of crazy shit that she do. Tell me.
Oh, God.
Tell me. Tell
How
me.
long did that last?
Here's the
Oh,
thing,
Lord have mercy.
right?
Lord of mercy.
The same way when you go on a plane, those flight attendants give you instructions on in case of emergency, da 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 da. Now, it did come up organically, right? I was open and it was a free-flowing conversation. I didn't ask them to tell me about their mental health. I was the one that was vulnerable and told them about my experience of what I was doing, done, past, boom.
When you're on the plane, people lie because they just want the plane to get up in the air. Nobody is really willing to do all of the stuff that the flight attendant tell. I'm not doing that. I just want the plane to get up in the air so I can get where I gotta go.
They just want the extra leg room.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Dr. Tay, do you recommend that?
I don't co-sign. I'm just
Do you recommend that, Dr. Tay? Do you
recommend first date.
That question?
I think it depends on the person and what your perspectives are. That might be, I guess, if you create an atmosphere of vulnerability, that might show the other person, like in Luke's situation, he was vulnerable, so that opened up the space for her to be vulnerable, and he said it was organic. I think that's okay. It depends on the person, but that might be like a litmus test for you. Let me put this out there, and their response is going to tell me if I even want a second date.
Luke, can I ask you why you're not talking to her currently?
It has nothing to do with their mental illness.
Are you
Is
sure?
that-
So
is-
why? So
That's what I'm going to tell you.
So
I'm not going to tell you anything else in respect to this woman.
you're not saying her name. You could tell me. You could
Okay.
tell me why you're not talking to her crazy ass without saying her crazy ass name.
So,
oh boy.
That's how we have a disclaimer.
How to bring it up. That was one of the ways that I brought it up, right? Are there some questions? You said that you saw something that
I saw her
made you-
behavior
that go
that alarmed me.
Can you tell me what the behavior was?
To ask, I told you he would just be chilling, minding his business, watching TV, and be like, and just spaz out and like, where did that come from? You were just sitting here watching TV, like.
But
where
maybe
did
he
that-
was trying because you ever fellas. This question is for the fellas, right? You ever been with a woman who will intentionally start an argument, hoping
No.
that
No.
it could turn out with y'all having some makeup sex?
No. We was both quiet. He's watching TV. I'm doing my thing, and all of a sudden, he just puts the remote down. And like, you know what? And just goes on a whole tantrum and just goes for. It was scary
You
to
ain't
the
making
point
a
where it's like
sandwich.
that's not normal,
So
huh?
something triggered him.
You ain't.
Yeah, but you just watching TV. Nothing was said. Where did that come from? And I asked him, and he told me he was like, yeah. Not only did I have a mental disorder, but my parents. I came from an abusive household.
Y'all was
I
watching
like,
SVU,
it was a whole bunch of things that led to that. But
or was y'all watching SVU or Family Feud?
So, in response to that,
uh,
Dr. Tay, and what I'm trying to say, I know you're saying that you wouldn't do it on the first date, but knowing about someone's symptoms allows you to act accordingly, right? Like if you know, then there might be some ways, some soothing tech, like whatever it might be, whatever the symptom might be. If you know, you might not be like, what the hell is going on here? As opposed to, okay, I know what this is going on. Let me, right? Is that accurate or am I just bugging out?
No, that's accurate. But also, if you know their symptoms, whatever their diagnosis is, you have the opportunity to decide whether or not you're willing to sign on for that.
That part.
Because not everybody wants to say, okay, do your deep breathing, in for 2, hold for 2, out for 2. The world is not ending. Like maybe you don't have the capacity to talk someone through a panic attack. And then you get to decide whether or not you're going to stick around. So if you know that ahead of time, you can make an informed decision whether or not you stay or go.
And that was my next question. Like, is everybody
equipped.
not just mentally and emotionally equipped for the answers for that? Also, like you said, there's a lot of people who are undiagnosed out there. So there may be people who don't know that
Yep.
there's that they have something,
Yep.
or that somebody in their family, that there are traits that came from some family members.
Right.
So, I mean, we can have that. Let's just say you can have that conversation, and somebody says no, but
Luke, do you regret staying in that situation? Even though you said it and because of her mental health, but do you regret? Do you like based on what she told you? Do you feel like, you know what, I should have just let her ass go?
No, she was a functioning adult. There was nothing that was.
We're all functioning adults. There's also functioning crackheads. Like, I'm just saying, like,
Welcome.
there's people who use cocaine every day that are functioning. Y'all don't watch Power?
Go to work.
I'm
Like-
starting to think
Go to work.
that Uptown is on the spectrum.
Oh, gosh.
Like,
What leads you to that diagnosis?
All the people on Wall Street, all the brokers on Power
can't.
is sitting there getting coked up every day
That's funny.
buying coke from Tariq and like they fucking.
So, in continuing this dialogue, have you
Yeah.
guys been with someone, did not know that they had, I know you say you did, but found out later? How did that go down for you guys?
She told me, I listen. She told me I stuck around and regretted it. I was like, oh, I should have let her crazy ass go.
Was that because you didn't have the bandwidth? You didn't have
So what I tell you is, right, when she told me, I was understanding about it, right? So the follow-up question to her telling me, I was just like,
how soon, how far along were you in this
couple weeks.
Okay.
So I asked her, what does an episode for her look like? Because I understand that, mental health is also very personal. What an episode looks like for one person might look completely different for another person, right?
Mhm.
So I asked her what an episode looks like, what for her looks like. She explained it to me, but then when I actually witnessed her go through an episode, it was the exact opposite of what the hell she told me it looks like. So I was just like, oh, I should have probably just let her ass go.
I also think there's levels to it. There's levels because, like, someone who's bipolar, to me, I feel like they're more tolerable in the sense of coping than someone who's like schizophrenic. Like, I feel like that's an extreme mental disorder, in my opinion. Dr. T, I'm not a doctor, but like, in my opinion, I feel like schizophrenia is something that's like,
She can read it.
But you also work in healthcare,
Mhm.
so
I
so
do.
your knowledge and Dr. Tay's knowledge would be different from somebody else's knowledge, especially if they don't have personal experience with it,
so
right?
for my opinion, I feel like someone who has more of a higher mental illness like schizophrenia, to me, I feel like it's a little bit more scary and dangerous for me than someone who's bipolar, right? And also, like, Now, you have a mental disorder. Okay, cool. But are you taking your medication?
Mm.
Are you on top of your medication? Because that's the factor. Because if you're not taking your medication, you're gonna wild out. You're gonna spaz out and do crazy stuff.
Well, it also
But if you're on,
depends
It's
on
called decomp.
what the medication does to them. Now, there are certain medications that will make people more manic. Like, so they're pretty
Especially
much
if they're
while
given
they,
the
yeah.
wrong meds.
So that if they're giving the wrong meds, like they have to figure out which medication they're actually supposed to get.
okay.
And if they're mixing medications,
Mhm.
again, certain medications will make them more manic.
And that's scary
and-
coming
right.
from someone
So
who doesn't know the history of medication and what to like. That's so scary for me. I mean, like,
Mhm.
I had a discussion in class one time about like what's more dangerous, someone who has a mental health disorder or someone who has hypertension or diabetes. And I said mental health disorder, and it's like, how come? I said when you have diabetes, that's on you. You're affecting yourself. When you eat sugar, that's on you. When you have hypertension, high blood pressure, you want to eat that salt, that's on you. But when you have a mental disorder, you're shooting up schools, you're hurting other people. You're shooting up supermarkets.
Not everyone that shoots
Not
up
e-
schools has a mental disorder.
But most of
but
them
go ahead.
do. Most of them do. So I feel like a mental disorder, you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting people around you, people you love and care about. But if you're sick and you have hypertension, that's on you. That's your own sickness. You're not hurting anybody.
Go ahead, Dr. Tay.
You know?
Did I zone out?
I saw the things going.
Go ahead.
Come on.
So the media highlights the squeaky wheel, but there's research that like there's a myth that people who have mental health diagnoses are dangerous, but they're no more dangerous than people who don't have diagnoses.
Mhm.
The caveat is that there are a lot of people who are undiagnosed, but I think we suggest whenever there's a school shooting, we assume, oh, they have some kind of
They
diagnosis.
say it though.
It's sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes it depends on the
When you
color
read
of
the
people, but
manifestos,
I
it sounds
digress.
different.
Mm-hmm.
So the research says that they're no more dangerous, but as far as like you categorized it as like levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's less about the type of diagnosis and more about how and if it's being managed.
Right.
Because there are people who are actively hallucinating and hearing voices, but if they're taking their medication, they can hold jobs,
Right.
they have
Right.
families. There are people who aren't medicated, but they've learned how to manage it. So, but if you have someone who has, let's say, major depressive disorder and it's not managed, then that can be dangerous as well for the individual or for others.
Right.
So I think it's more so a matter of if it's being dealt with.
Yeah, true. Because mental health is so crazy. Because depending on what your diagnoses are you gonna you could either be dangerous to yourself or dangerous to other people, depending on what your diagnosis actually is.
And your
Um,
symptoms,
yeah, and
because
your
you can
symptoms.
be diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but with psychotic features.
Oh my
And if it has psychotic features, are those psychotic features hallucinations, auditory hallucinations? Are you hearing voices? Okay, if you are they telling you to do things or aren't they? Are they are they deprecating or are they telling you to go harm someone? So they're, like you said, levels.
And then if you are on the spec where you have like dysthymia or something like that, like it could be confused for ADHD. It's a whole spectrum. Like
Being misdiagnosed is a thing. There are
Mhm.
people who were misdiagnosed in their childhood, medicated, and now their neurons and their neurotransmitters are all off
Because of that.
because of the medication that they were given for the diagnosis they never should have
I
had.
have a question for you, Dr. Tate. Do you find that people are in denial about it? Like I go to my doctor, he tells me I have schizophrenia. I'm like, I don't have schizophrenia. I'm not taking no medication. Get out of here. I'm not doing that.
Absolutely.
Like, you see that a
Especially-
lot?
Yes, and I see it because where I practice, it's a diverse population. I work in a college. So a lot of international students, and we don't diagnose. They come in for like crisis triage and things like that. So we're not diagnosing them,
Right.
but oftentimes they'll come in and what they describe that they're experiencing to the mental health professionals like, "Oh, you just had a panic attack." But because they're not used to tending to their mental health in their culture or whatever, yes, they will be in denial. But also, are people in denial just, outside of my experience? Yes, especially depending on the culture they come from. I mean, look
That
around.
part.
We probably know people who should be
That
diagnosed.
part.
They were probably diagnosed, but they're like, nah, because they've accepted the dysfunction
It's
as
for
normal.
them. Mhm.
You know what else could make somebody in denial? It's called like the medication cycle, right? So you get your meds, you take the meds, the meds make you feel better.
And you
So once you start to feel better, you stop taking the meds.
Mhm.
And then you start to, you know what I'm saying, decompensate
Yeah.
all over again. And then it's like, so
Cycle.
that alone, that cycle alone could have people just completely thrown off.
See,
Absolutely.
you are smart. You know.
I just like to
Got
pretend I'm
moments.
not. Let me continue
Excellent.
pretending that I'm not
Oh,
smart.
is that
Thank
what's
you.
happening? Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I didn't
Thank
mean
you.
to throw you.
Duh.
So
we got 4 seasons of me pretending I'm dumb. Can I continue, bro?
okay, my bad. So the question was, so we got an answer from you. Anybody else want to? I know you say you
I answered it.
no. Did you deal with someone and then found out later?
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was years later.
Years later.
Like after we were done,
Mm.
I found out, and it was actually through a conversation with some mutual friends about that person's diagnosis, and it, was like, dag, okay, now I understand why this is happening, why that happened, and
It makes sense.
yeah, a lot of things made sense. I also realized that it was the cause for certain other things that happened. Some other people that I knew that were close to them and things that they dealt with. So realizing that there was generational things that were going on with that. So because of seeing that, it made me kind of look into that a little bit more. Just not realizing how mental health can be a generational thing.
So it's hereditary?
It can
It can
certain
be.
things can be.
Absolutely.
So the fact, like for instance, you mentioned bipolar disorder. That's actually
A generational thing.
generation. That's actually something that can be, most of the time they say, is passed from mother to daughter.
Interesting.
I have a question for Dr. Tay. Do you feel like there could possibly be a correlation between mental health and emotional immaturity?
Yes. Yes. Okay. I had to process it and then
Because
give my
because
answer.
because it's a lot of context and nuance to that, but like
Yes. So when you asked the question, I was thinking about attachment styles. And attachment style is how you attach to your primary caregiver as an infant. And the attachment style that you have as a child is going to determine how you engage in relationships as an adult. So, what might present as emotional immaturity might be a function of your attachment style. Now, your attachment style doesn't necessarily mean that you have a mental illness, but those who have, let's say, an insecure attachment might have a mental
What does that mean
illness.
exactly? An
What
attachment style to who?
to your primary caregiver. So we would assume that it would be the mother, but
Yeah.
sometimes mothers give birth and they're not there. So it could be like a grandmother or the person who's taking care of you when you like just got here.
Okay.
So your relationship with that person is kind of your foundation for how you view relationships. So if you have an insecure, disorganized attachment, like you want the person there, but when they're there, you're not paying them any mind. When you grow older, you will engage in your romantic relationships, platonic relationships, or otherwise in very much the same way, just on an adult level.
or could it just be that like in the relationships that they witnessed growing up that they just normalize whatever behavior, whether it be positive, negative, and that contributed to their emotional immaturity?
That too, because it was a learned behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were in, let's say, an emotional environment where anger was the reaction for everything, you learned to respond that way. So you're going to grow up responding that way unless there's some kind of intervention, you go to therapy, somebody calls it out, and you start to make adjustments yourself.
So you saying I just needed therapy?
Can I ignore him like you did before?
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah,
joking.
absolutely. You can absolutely. You can.
That or you feel like you're not loved unless those things aren't given. Like she was saying, if anger is the response for everything, you don't feel like love is there unless there's anger.
Right.
Mhm.
You equate love to anger.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I go back to, I know you said that you don't agree it shouldn't be, it's your prerogative on how soon or whether you even give that information to somebody that you are meeting and just dating, but these are real questions, right? I don't want to say someone should feel obligated to tell you about whatever illness that they might be going through, but if it's someone that you are seeing, I would hope
Just
that
not
you
the
would
first date.
disclose.
Just not the first date.
Just not the first date. She's like, first date.
Just not the first date.
I appreciate your boldness for doing that on the first date, my brother.
Yeah.
Listen, I ain't got time, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I-
digging.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Let me ask you a
Like,
question.
when I was younger, I had a lot of time.
Right.
There was
So-
a lot of days I would do it.
Did you get some coochie that first date?
No, I did not get coochie on the first
Because
date.
you asking them dumbass questions.
Because I can't.
Is that what happened?
That's definitely what happened.
But
So
you know,
you dried her up.
sorry.
with
You know
that
what?
bullshit.
You don't. Oh, not everyone gets on the first date. Okay, sir.
Well, you might have had the opportunity and you dried her up with them questions.
Here we go.
All right.
So Mona, it's being that you're saying, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Being that you're saying, being that you're saying it should be on a first date, how do you feel that those questions should be asked and when?
I feel like it should be asked. I just feel like you don't know where I am dealing with when it comes to that topic. Like you don't know if I'm going through my own healing in order to even express to people. that I'm-
Support.
Yeah, but you don't know that I'm going through my own healing to even express to people that I have a mental disorder. That's something that you have to grasp, and have the reality like, damn, I have a problem. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to just like tell the world that right now. Let me deal with it let me process it for myself first before I spread it to the world. Like, I'm not ready for that right now. And I feel like sometimes maybe that could be a drawback, me talking about it to someone who's not receptive to how I need to be healed with you. Like, I'm telling you, but you're not receptive to the way I need it to be receptive to me. Then I'm gonna go into my little shell and I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, that was it. No more questions. So like you don't know where my mind is when it comes to that. So you gotta be mindful of that too. You have to give me grace for not telling you on the first day. You gotta give me a little grace. Like that's a big deal.
It is.
That's like saying,
That's true.
oh, you got mental disorder? Okay, check. How many abortions you had? Okay, you had 4. All right. So like I just feel like
You say it's a big deal, but you guys just said that wasn't a question
Not the
you would
first
ask-
date.
You ask somebody. Regardless, that's not a question that you guys will ask somebody.
I got a
I
question
asked
for
them
I got a question for all y'all.
I never have.
I asked someone.
I mean,
Have
That may be
have
something
have
else.
any of you guys ever ignored red flags that might
Yes.
make you feel like a person has a mental disorder just because either A, for the fellas, the chick was just bad, so you just let her slide. She was like super bad, so you just let her slide. Or B, because she was giving you some good coochie. And ladies, have you ever ignored behavior because the dude was fine and he was giving you some good penis? So you let it slide because I feel like you can't pretend like you care about mental health, but you're gonna let things slide just because the person's bad.
Let me rephrase his question.
He's like Luther, the anger interpreter.
I'm telling a translator. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
go
gonna
ahead, go ahead.
translate this. So, have you ignored red flags based on the potential of the relationship that the person that you are?
That's not what I said. I said because they
Listen.
was bad and it was.
I
giving
don't
you
care
some
what you
good
said.
sex.
I'm translating.
That's what I said.
translating Mr. Receipts.
So,
Okay,
as a
potential because women and men do it. Like we
Absolutely.
definitely
Oh, yeah.
ignore
Good
stuff
coochie ain't
because
got nothing to do
of
with potential. I know what I said.
Yeah,
Alright.
not mutually exclusive. There is some overlap, but I see what
Okay,
you
that's the
said.
question. All right, let's go down.
I just feel like when I was younger, I didn't know what that was. Like when I was like in my 20s and someone got angry or someone showed some kind of mental illness, I didn't know that to be like, oh, he's bipolar. Oh, he this and he has behavior. I didn't know that.
Okay, but have
Like,
you ignored red
I'm
flags
knowledgeable
based
now.
on potential?
Potential of what? A relationship? Or the sex like Rob was talking
Thank
about?
you. That's what I said.
Like let's be clear on what we're talking about.
I am going to loosely translate potential, and you can use that on any category
However
that
you
Did
you
I
like.
ignore
like.
red flags because of
the
potential?
potential her truth.
I
However
ignore
you
red
like.
Oh my
flags.
gosh.
No, let me be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I ignored red flags to continue having sex with a person because the sex was good, but I knew in my mind we could never be together.
Mm.
Would you do that present day?
It depends on how.
See, that's what I want. See, I want real answers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is why I can't have you
And it depends on how
paraphrase
often
my question. I want real answers,
and it
brother.
depends on how often I see
All
him.
this
It
season.
depends on how often I see you.
I'm
Like,
gonna-
I gotta-
I'm
if
gonna
it's not
be
often, you
interpreting.
gotta deal with it. I gotta see how often do I really see you? We fucking and we
Oh
leaving.
my
Okay, so I
gosh.
think I could do it. Crazy ass.
All right,
but-
Dre, answer the question,
I'm
my brother.
gonna be crazy in my cell phone. You crazy calling?
Yeah, I have.
So she bad as she key your car, you gonna let her slide?
Nah, bro.
Depends on how bad she is.
No. Honestly, I've gotten to a different place in life. Like there's certain things I just refuse to deal with, and my ignore game and stuff like that is
Yeah, I was in
different
Miami
now.
once and I heard a woman say, and you know what I'm saying, that she knew she could get away with keying her dude's car because her two-hand twist game was so crazy. She knew she could get away with it. And
No,
he wasn't gonna do nothing.
All right, well, you say now, but what
You
about
say
before?
that, but
before, yeah.
I
So you
heard the
have-
woman, I swear to God.
I mean,
The guy probably knocked
but
out.
not that far. She's not keying my car.
Okay.
right.
But yeah, like I would like let things slide just because. But now, no, I'm good.
What about you, Luke?
Yes.
Yes, what?
For which one? 'Cause
Yeah,
there's,
right?
There's
Oh, he's
question
on-
A and
Yeah,
question
he's like,
A.
yes.
B.
Dash too.
Or 8.2.
What was the
however.
question again?
Would you let things slide if she is bad or she giving you good coochie?
Oh, so potential, right? I have let things slide based on the potential. And
Yo.
yes, like Ramona, I have definitely
I'm tired of
said, okay, you wildin', but that thing good. So we gonna do a couple more of these sessions before I
Then
give
don't
you a
pretend you
deuces.
care about mental health. For all y'all that's letting things slide, don't pretend like you
No.
care about because you really don't.
No.
You really do. You
No.
just said you gonna let stuff slide
No.
if shorty bad.
But you know what,
Don't
Luke?
pretend like
I
you
didn't
care.
say if Shorty's bad. I said potential.
That means if
Which
No,
was
there's no
open for
future.
interpretation.
Exactly.
Open for
Exactly.
interpretation.
Right.
Let's
I'm
be
trying to have
honest.
honest conversation here.
Dr.
and
Tay, you
y'all
want
sit here-
what? You what about you?
For potential, yes.
See?
For
Potential of what?
something more.
More penis?
No. Like a relationship. We'll go with that.
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 Good answer. Good answer.
On a
You know what
real-
Top
happened?
answers on the board.
right.
Thing, yeah.
No, I like her. I wanted to be with this girl really bad, and I foregoed the things that I truly wanted and valued because I wanted to give this person a chance. And
The chance, yes.
Mm-mm.
The
and
chance to be better or the chance for more coochie?
Oh my gosh.
Mm-mm.
the chance to be in a relationship with her and in hopes and thinking that we would, be prosperous.
It was that good,
I'm
huh?
not going to be in a relationship with someone who I feel has a mental illness that I can't handle. Let's be clear. That I can't handle.
Okay.
That I can't handle.
But if you can handle them back shots.
I'm afraid to ask, but Mr. Uptown, you want to answer the question?
So my answer to this question, in the past, I have ignored red flags based on the fact that she was bad and she had awesome vagina. In the present state that I am in my life right now, I don't need to worry about that.
About what?
Letting
Red
ignoring
flags?
red flags because
Are they ignoring red flags? Do they know that you are on the spectrum?
they better. They bet. Listen,
I hate you.
I don't.
Trey.
Hold up. Let me ask you a question. For those of you here who know me, do I lie about who I am as a person?
No,
No.
but you haven't been diagnosed.
Well, would you like to diagnose me, Dr. Tay?
Who said I haven't already? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, what's my diagnosis? Tell everybody.
man.
I have not diagnosed you, Mr. Brown.
Wow.
Listen, I don't lie about who I am. I know I'm a little off.
Little.
Ooh, ba-dum-dum.
Baby steps.
I'm proud of you, bro.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
know.
All right, so we spoke about the spectrum of the different mental illnesses, and I didn't even know that there was really a spectrum. I thought if you had a certain illness, like that was it. I didn't know that you can have this illness, and then boom, boom, boom.
There's certain specifiers.
Yeah,
like it
I
could
was
be
wow.
mild, moderate, or severe, or with psychotic features, or with depressive symptoms.
Right.
Like when you go to Popeyes, it's mild, spicy.
What were you saying?
But you,
Mental health is
But
not
you-
chicken.
By the
but these individuals still can function in relationships, and as you said, if they're taking their meds, things like that. So there's nothing that says that this person has this illness that you can't still date and
Right,
be
and live
like I know people who are
absolutely.
married, like they
Yeah.
and they
You know I'm not.
all of this,
Yeah,
you know.
true.
So
I just
it's
feel like
not
court
all
is
of you who
most
have it,
people.
don't be scared. Like, and to Ramona's point, you know, maybe you find a medium someplace.
Yeah,
But I definitely think it's something everyone should be asking.
Medium spicy.
because May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. By the way,
Hey,
I thought it was National Masturbation Month.
Maybe in your book, sir.
I thought it was Nurses Month.
Nurses
so-
Week. Nurses
Nurses
Week.
Week. It's,
Yeah.
it's
There's a
so
whole
many.
bunch of.
It's Nurses Week.
Shout out to the nurses wherever you are.
Pew, pew,
I'm
pew.
turning this way. I'm just facing this way. Leave the two piece with the biscuit.
It is
over there.
National Masturbation Month. It is though. If you look it up, it's National Masturbation.
We're gonna look it up, and if it is, I'll put it right here. I'll get them some feedback.
Always
Can you
trying
put
to.
mental health awareness as well, please.
I will right
Thank
there.
you.
Put it right there.
Why do you know that?
This is not Wednesday
You
at
forgot.
10.
So
like,
I have this other podcast called Uptown After Dark. It's all about sex
Hey, I put
and
that right there.
sexuality. So that's why I know about that. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the segue. I take that alley-oop. You know what I'm saying? Pippin and Jordan. That's how we do it.
Nice. All right, so we're getting close to the end of this episode. It's been
I have-
so good. I know we got so many more
I
questions.
have a question.
Go ahead, continue.
So if you were dealing with a female or I'm dealing with a male and we're dating for like maybe like 6 months, 7 months, and I don't tell him that
What
I
if
have a-
she
Wait a
identifies
minute,
as a
wait a
female?
minute,
Like
wait
that's
a
her
minute.
pronoun?
Hey, wait a minute.
All right.
I don't tell him that I have a mental illness after 7 months of dating him, right? And I tell him because I feel like, it's getting serious. We might be in a relationship. Would you be more upset as a man that I didn't tell you until now? Or would you be more upset that I have the mental illness? Like, would you be more upset because of time lapse or the fact that I have a mental illness? Like, what would be your view on that?
Depends on what you tell me. If you tell me why you riding that thing or why your mouth is mouthing, I might not even pay
You said
attention.
when your mouth was mouthing.
I'm trying to refrain from. I told you I wasn't a good curse. I told you.
You already did it,
I
bro.
cursed.
I didn't curse today.
I cursed.
Yes, you did.
I cursed.
What curse? What's that? I ain't cursed today.
All
I
right,
did.
we wait.
I'm trying to refrain from profanity. I've been doing good.
Oh,
So
I
what-
said coochie instead of like the P word. I've been doing pretty good.
What do
Okay.
you think? Dr. Tay also. Luke also.
So I'll answer. So I would be receptive.
Even though it was 6 months in.
6 months in, I would be receptive. One, because everyone's perspective on sharing
Mhm.
is different, and how 6 months for
Mhm.
someone can go like that. For other people, it's really long.
Mhm.
It takes a lot
Ladies,
of time.
if you're
to
single and
gain
you want
trust.
kids and you want a man who doesn't care about your diagnosis, you could contact the skywalkertouch@gmail.com.
So I would be receptive because she was being vulnerable with me at this point, and I would take that like, wow, like,
So you wouldn't be upset
no, I would be like, this would make me feel closer to her
because she shared that with you.
because she shared that with me, and,
Where you
and,
see
and I
my
respect that
diagnosis.
so much on so many
Where do you
levels
see my-
that somebody can be open with me like that in the same way that I would be open. Because I'm, again, for me at this stage in my life,
Your open book.
I'm an open book. You ask me, I'm gonna tell you, with the exception of some of the questions that Mr. Uptown have asked today. And I want to know, and I want to move things forward. And the only way you can do that is if you are open and vulnerable. I'm not doing the representative. Shit is whack.
It's true.
Like, we've all had our experiences with it, and I'm done with it. So if you're not coming, you come in with a representative, there's the door.
Over.
Like,
Yeah.
keep it going. I'm
I
not
agree.
tired.
I agree.
That's my answer.
Good answer.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I answer. I wouldn't be upset.
Okay.
For you to bring that up, whenever you bring it up, means that you trust me enough to open up to tell me what's going on with you.
You gonna open up enough to take off your glasses when you have a conversation with her?
That was good. That was good.
I
I'm
might. One of those. Open my nose. Open my nose.
Oh,
Yo.
Sorry, look down. But yeah, if she has enough to be to have that kind of a conversation with me,
Mhm.
and she trusts me enough, I wouldn't be upset. There's no need to be. Obviously that should mean that the relationship that we have, whatever it is, should be growing.
Okay.
And she feels safe with me to tell me that.
Right. Okay.
Does it matter if she tells you about her diagnosis before or after you get the coochie?
Doesn't matter.
Nope, don't matter.
Doesn't matter. You want to answer the question, then Dr. Tay will answer.
I ain't got no. Depending on what she tells me, I think people always talk about this judgment-free zone. I'm judging. I'm gonna tell you that right now, and I think we all are. I think we just don't want to admit to it. Listen, if you meet a man and he tells you, you know what I'm saying, that he is a registered sex offender, you judging him. You're not gonna be like, well, let me hear the
different.
details.
That's different.
It's not different.
Yes, it is. You know why?
Because guess
No,
what? The details
no,
might actually
no,
be
no.
that, you know what, he was arrested late at night. He was near a park, and everybody, for people that don't know, if you get caught, you know, like he
Rob,
was drunk at night, he was
uptown.
pissing. You know what I'm saying? The police pulled him over. There was
Uptown.
no kids involved, but he had to register as a sex offender.
That's two different things. You can't go to jail for having a mental illness. It's two different things.
Some people should.
Oh Jesus, take the wheel. You
But
can't go to jail for
I'm
that.
just saying,
It's two different things.
I'm judging.
Okay. Dr. Tay.
I'm judging, and I'm gonna use that against you and be like, nah,
That's not right.
I can't.
What if you really care about her?
This
Huh?
is
What if you
his,
really care about her?
this is his answer.
I know.
You think he cares?
Like, what
Dr.
what happened in 6 months? You really care about? Okay.
Mona. Dr.
We're talking about Uptown.
You still gonna shit on her because okay.
Dr. Tay.
That's not nice.
I'm judging.
That's not nice.
I would explore in a non-judgmental or non-confrontational way why it took them that long to share. I think there could be a number of reasons. Maybe they were anxious about sharing it. If they were trying to be deceptive, then that would be, that would
Point.
require a different approach than,
Yeah, they could
I
have.
wasn't sure how you would receive it. I think processing the why would open more doors to vulnerability and cause you to learn more about the person and determine if you want to stick around.
So how do you
Glad
know?
Dr. Tay is on the show today.
Right, but how do you know if it was done out of trying to be
Deceptive.
Yeah, deceptive. Like
Ask.
they didn't tell.
Who gonna say that? Oh yeah, by the way.
Yeah, I wasn't.
be-
I didn't want to tell you
You
because
can't
Right.
control
trying
how
to
they
get over.
respond, but
Right.
if you open up that conversation, they might
Mhm.
say, "Look, maybe it was, I guess,
well, I didn't tell you because I was
deceptive,
just
but
trying to
not in a
smash.
malicious way. Like, I'm on a new medication, and I wanted to see if I could manage my symptoms without it affecting the relationship. Like, there's so many different responses a person could give. So it could be deceptive, but in like not being malicious. You know what I mean? But if they were just trying to be malicious, like, I just wanted to
Manipulative.
give you the representative of who I am, and then
So is mental health a deal breaker?
depends on the person. If you, I guess this is where the conversation comes full circle. Do you have the capacity to deal with the person as they deal with their symptoms?
That's called judgment. That means y'all judges just like me. Thank
I
you.
That's
can't
not true.
with you.
What you mean?
That's not true.
So Mona,
Where's the judgment?
you meet a dude after 6 months. He tell you he like wearing women's panties. What you doing?
I'm gonna say, why do you like wearing women's panties? What does it do for you? I want to know why
You staying?
I want to know why you want.
Are you staying?
I don't know because I never had anyone in my life at 43 wear women's panties. So for you to ask me that question that never ever happened in my life, I can't give you an honest answer because I don't know. But I definitely would ask him.
What do you think you would do?
Why would I would be like, why the fuck you wearing panties?
Okay.
Like
We are-
that's what I was saying.
we are-
Like,
Just trying to give the
Can we come back?
the
I made you curse. You didn't make me curse,
I've
but
been
I made
cursing
you
all
curse.
day. I've been
We
cursing
got-
all- I never said I wasn't going to
You
though.
did
Hello,
that.
hello.
All
We
right.
got 10 minutes. I gotta bring you back. Sorry, we cannot go down that route.
I'm like,
Your
Okay.
question was,
Leave-
we bring it full circle.
mhm.
I forgot your question because his damn ass.
Is it a deal
Is it a
breaker?
deal
Is
breaker?
mental have someone being diagnosed?
And he
with
said
mental-
judging. Is it a deal breaker for you?
It depends on factors. It depends on are you taking medication? Are you seeing a therapist? Are you functional? Is dating you going to be scary for me?
Mm.
Like
So you're gonna ask questions and then make what? A judgment call. You're
on
judging.
no, I'm not judging you. I'm judging whether or not I want to be in this relationship.
Right.
Just like how
You need
just like-
information. You
but
need
just
data.
like but my thing is just like how if I meet you, you be like, you know what, I ain't working right now. I live with my mother. That's still a judgment on me. Now, do I want to deal with a
It's
man?
okay to
who
judge.
lives
I
with-
don't think it's
It's not,
something
but I'm
wrong
not
with
judging you. I'm judging if I want to be in this relationship with this situation right now. So I'm sitting back like, do I want to be with this guy that lives with his mom, don't have no job? Do I want to deal with that right now at my age? I have a child in college. Do I want to deal with that? It's something that I need to know for my own personal self. Nothing to do with you.
Right, your bandwidth.
You're fine. I just want to know if I can deal with that. That's
Okay.
all. Yeah.
Drake?
I don't know.
Okay, that's honest.
I don't know. I just, I think it depends on who the person is and what they're dealing with. It also depends on
Just
where
say
I
you're gonna
am.
judge just like me, Jay. Come on,
No,
Judge. Join.
no.
Come on.
It has nothing to do with judgment. It has to do with where I am too. You know, so kind of like, do I have the bandwidth or the capacity to deal with what I'm dealing with and to deal with whatever they're dealing with at the same time?
And that's okay.
Can I effectively be in a relationship with this person and walk alongside them while they battle whatever they're battling? You know, can I handle that?
Okay, that's fine.
And that's
I'll
fair.
say
That's fair.
it's two things. It's two main factors for me, which will determine whether or not if it's a deal breaker for me. One, does this person align with the goals that I'm setting for myself in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's a big one for me. If it does not, then it's nice meeting you. There's no judgment there. I'm going this way, and you don't align with that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And the second thing is how does it affect us, right? Because if I don't know, there's no way for me to, like, that's what I'm saying. I'll give a chance. Like, I don't know how it's going to affect us. It all depends on how much care are you taking on you
Right.
as an individual
Right.
to really maintain your stability and as a functioning human being,
Just
whatever
for
your
you.
symptoms might be.
This is just for you because you don't have any children.
You just said that you just letting chicks slide if they got good
fine.
coochie and they bad.
I did. You
Hold
made
on.
that. Thank
Wait.
you.
The potential.
This is for you.
For potential.
ahead.
So what you saying all of that, right? Would you still date a woman who has a mental illness, knowing that you have no children, with the potential that she might give it to your child? That illness that she has, would you still consider that?
It depends on the mental illness.
It depends. That's fair. That's fair.
Because
That's fair.
That's
like
fair.
because there are mental illness. I know people who and they're fine. Like
Yeah.
some of them don't even take medication and they're fine. So it really depends
Fair.
on what it is. And that's just, what is it? No
Honest.
cap? Like I don't
I mean, that's
Honest,
true. 'Cause,
honest.
I mean, it would be this. It
Honest.
would kind of like be the same as like if you having a baby with somebody, you want to know if they have sickle cell trait. Like
Mhm.
you
That's
just want to
true.
know
That is true.
what
'Cause I
you could
have
be
it.
expecting.
I have sickle cell trait.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
soon they're gonna be able to, the way technology is. But anyway,
You could just have an AI relationship. AI is gonna take over everything.
I kind of know what you're gonna say, but go ahead. Deal breaker, Mr. Uptown.
The deal breaker, it would depend on what it is.
What that mouth do? That's I could-
No, I mean,
Is your
We
mouth?
were all
Just say-
waiting.
Does your mouth
all
have a
day.
mental disorder?
yeah, right. Because like if she is on her cycle, I'm gonna be ask her, what did your dentist say?
All right. The question.
You know what I'm saying?
Deal breaker.
Deal breaker.
See,
It's a deal breaker depending on what it is, but I'm gonna ask a whole lot of questions, and I'm gonna need to know. I need the stats. I need the data. I need to figure it out. But I'm definitely gonna gather all my data and make an assessment and judge whether I feel I can personally handle whatever it is I feel like she coming with.
Okay.
Okay. That's fair.
And final,
he's gonna be a jerk about it.
Dr. Tay.
It depends on how they're managing it. Like if and how they're managing it. So if medication is part of your treatment plan, are you staying on track with it? Like, or are you just taking it, whenever you want to, when it's supposed to be every day? Are you going to see a therapist? Are you staying consistent with your treatment? And I haven't been in this situation when someone had a diagnosed mental illness, but just thinking from experiences of my clients, are their symptoms triggering? So like we haven't really talked about it, but let's say their diagnosis is the same as your parents' diagnosis. And that was, part of some kind of traumatic experience for you.
Got it.
even if it's anxiety or a panic disorder, and you seeing this person having a panic attack reminds you of when you saw your
Mhm.
So I
parent
could say
or a
anxiety is a
sibling.
mental disorder?
What'd you say?
Anxiety is a mental disorder?
Absolutely.
Oh, never knew that.
Anxiety is a whole cluster of
Never knew
mental
that.
health diagnoses.
Never knew that.
Generalized
Bing
anxiety
bong.
disorder, PTSD is a trauma and anxiety disorder.
Mm.
OCD, an
I
anxiety
have
disorder.
OCD.
Those are anxiety
And those are all
related.
mental illnesses?
Mhm.
Damn, gotta write.
Oh, that's crazy.
Gotta
yo.
write in my journal.
All right, team. We are coming to the conclusion of this episode. Oh, this was good. I felt this one in my bones. I don't know about you, but this one felt good to me. I don't know about you, but I hope
Dear
you liked
journal.
it. I did
You got
have
time for final thoughts or no?
we do have time for final thoughts.
Rest in peace, Jerry Springer.
Oh, Jerry.
I did have a question, and I don't know. So let's do final thoughts, and if I'm able to get it in, then I'll get it in.
Okay.
Final thoughts. Who wants to lead? Fine, I'll lead. So, as I've always stated, that I think it's a question that we should be asking, especially now at this age. And you know what? Even if you're in your 20s, your 30s, think at some point, whatever the point is, whether it be the first date, second date, third date, have that conversation. That's an important question, not just what your mouth do or all these other things that Mr. Uptown might ask you. I think it's a conversational piece that should not be taken out of context. And it's important as the other questions that you will ask somebody as you're getting to know them. You can't do things in life without knowing what is happening. You can act accordingly when you know the information.
I'm gonna go next. I'm gonna respond. I think, I don't want to be judged because I care just as much as a woman's proficiency of her mental health as well as the proficiency of her mouth. I think that all of these things are pertinent to getting to know someone and having a relationship that is going to be healthy and you guys have the same value. So if I value the proficiency of her mouth, the proficiency of her mental health, the proficiency of, her educational status, these are all things that I find important. And I think that, when you add up all of these things in totality, you can get to really know a person and find out whether that is the person that is suitable for you.
Okay, who's next?
I'll be next.
Thank you.
Okay. So for me, I'm just not used to this conversation. I'm not saying you shouldn't have it. I just feel like I'm not used to this kind of conversation. I know post COVID, a lot of people have dealt with a lot of mental illnesses, a lot of mental health in regards to that. And right now in 2023, we should talk about it. But that's not something I was raised on talking about. So for me, it's not something I'm used to. So
Okay.
I have to adjust to this new way of dating, this new way of life that we are living right now. I have to adjust to it. And if it means that I have to ask those questions, I'm willing to do that. But it's not something that I'm just automatically willing to just turn around and just be this person all of a sudden. Because I was never that person to ask those questions. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm comfortable with somebody asking me about my mental health. I don't know because, like I said, it's new to me. So, everyone's different. For you, you feel like that's something that you should ask someone. For me, I just feel like I'm more of an observant person. If I see your actions and I see your ways or something that I can't deal with, or I see anything that is off, I don't have to ask you. Like, if you're functional, then I don't have to ask you. I just feel like I'm gonna watch you and see how you operate with me. And if I feel like I need to ask you later on down the line, then I will. But that's not something I'm used to, like I said before, and I just have to adjust to it. But I don't knock anyone who asks. I don't knock anyone who wants to know that because it's important for you. It's important for that person. So right now I'm just trying to get used to this new way of dating and asking these questions. But hey, if this is what we need to do in 2023 to make things better in relationships, family, the household, then I say go ahead. I'm all for it. Yeah.
Listen, being somebody who's dealt with that in relationships, it still was never something that I spoke on.
Mhm.
But knowing that mental health and the conversation about it has been brought more to the forefront, especially after the pandemic. Um, that may be a conversation that needs to be had. How that comes up that's something different. Just trying to figure out what that looks like and how that works, because conversing with people is different person to person, and everybody sees that the mental health thing. Everybody takes that as something that's really personal. Again, it's like asking somebody about their blood type or whether they have an STD or something like that. Again, that's something that needs to be spoken about. But again, when do you speak of those? When do you speak about those things? Those are definitely things that need to be brought up. Those are very important conversations. And again, like Luke said, he brought it up on the first date. I'm not sure if everybody's comfortable with the first date being that conversation, but that is something that does need to be brought up. And I think that we all just got to figure out what works best for us and how to make it a safe space so that those things can be spoken about. But again, that's the thing. Unfortunately, most people are gonna be judgmental. So we have to make sure that when we have those conversations, that it's something where people don't feel like or people know what the outcome can be based on what their answer is. So again, we have to understand that not everybody has the wherewithal to deal with somebody who has mental health issues, whether it be in their past or present.
Okay. Take us home, Dr. Tay.
If it's important to you, ask about it. Like, everybody has different deal breakers, and some people might not care if the person has a mental illness. But if it's something that you think will affect the relationship, affect how you function in the relationship, ask about it. And as far as when to ask about it, I say, just vaya con Dios. Go with God. Like, be organic. Just let it flow. And when you think the time is right, it might feel uncomfortable, but if you think it's the right time to ask, then ask. And hopefully it opens up conversation. If it doesn't, then that gives you some more data to help you decide whether or not you should be pursuing a relationship or not.
Shout out to Luke, the Harlem Skywalker. This is a Black History Moment for being the first Black man to ask a woman on the first date if she has mental health issues. You know what I'm saying? We got to give a round of applause for that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody clap it up.
Roll of
You know what I'm
credits or
saying?
something?
No.
So
Nope.
we've come, we went over a little bit. Thank you for staying with us this long. We appreciate it. We hope that you got some good information in this episode. We still had some stuff to discuss and we weren't able to. So I'll ask you, lovely viewers, if there are questions that you have that you would have liked us to answer or Dr. Tay to answer, please put it in the comments, email, be right there. We'd love to hear from you. And if it's enough, we'll bring Dr. Tate back and we'll do a part 2 and continue this dialogue a little bit more on mental health and dating. Dr. Tate, one more time, you got a book out. What was it again?
Your 21-day reset.
Yay.
And what was that Instagram?
That's Dr. Tay, THATS.
Is it on Amazon?
It is.
Okay.
The Kindle version is on Amazon.
Ow.
And you can get the hard copy on my website, drteonline.com.
You take EBT?
Right.
And with that being said, I am the Harlem Luke, the Harlem Skywalker.
I am First Lady Ramona.
I am Uptown Brown, Roger Poppy, Mr. Receipts, whatever you want to call me. I am here in the building.
Oh, no.
You.
Who me? Oh yeah. Listen, Hollywood Dre in Brooklyn.
All day.
Brooklynite all day.
All day.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Tay.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We hope to see you soon. And as always, have a great day and a better tomorrow.